The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another CW webinar. Today, we are here to discuss the Global Aggregates Market and Demand Forecast Market Report and its 2024 update. So to give a brief about the presenters, my name is Prashant Singh. I'm a director at CW Group, and I work out of CW's Mumbai, India office. And my colleague Lucas Pimenta, who was the main analyst on this report, he is from our Lisbon, Portugal office, but currently working out of Brazil. So let us go right into the agenda for this report. We will discuss some premier highlights from this report. Of course, we have much more detailed regional data by sort of aggregate consumption, the type of aggregates and their uses, and how those differ across regions, which cannot be sort of shared in this short webinar. But later on, you will find a link to the report where you can get a much more detailed understanding of what this report contains. So without much further ado, I'll start off with a brief introduction to CW Group. And CW Group is present across 3 different verticals. And we work with major global consultants and leading institutions, including the World Bank and the IFC. We provide consulting and advisory expertise across a diverse portfolio, and which is continuously expanding post the pandemic, of course. A couple of recent examples include a complete business process analysis for an online art gallery. We also have done a detailed feasibility study for a Middle Eastern petrochemical company for the manufacture of a specific chemical compound. And we have also done a GHG emissions reduction assessment for a major African cement producer that was looking to get multilateral funding. Now, under the research umbrella, of course, CW focused on cement demand as well as industry and / country reports. We provide in all our reports a 5-year historical review, as well as a 5-year forecast, including the volume forecast report and the trade prices report, which are 2 of CW's premier products. Complementing those product reports, especially the cement forecast report, is the global aggregates report, which obviously works in tandem with this volume forecast report. We also have commodity price assessments for cement, clinker, as well as petcoke, which you can access by visiting our website and sort of subscribing. Last but not least, under the media umbrella, we have online access to database news, articles. You can also have specific news letters generated for you as per your requirement on specific topics. We are also back to holding industry-specific meetings. The latest one is going to be in South Africa, Johannesburg, in the middle of October. And if you would like to get more details on CBI Africa, we would be happy to interact with you after the webinar. So without much further ado, here is the Global Aggregates Market and Demand Forecast Report. We look at coverage of consumption numbers. We look at the global trends in sort of aggregate consumption on a regional level, what is driving those consumption trends. How do those consumption trends diverge even across applications. We have a 5-year projection for global aggregates until 2029, and we sort of also analyze key drivers and constraints for the global aggregates market, including products such as gravel and sand, manufactured sand, railroad ballast, asphalt, to name a few. So let's go into and jump into sort of the macroeconomic overview, which is an important element of every discussion, and without which sort of you would not be have a correct assessment of where trends are going. So in July 2024, actually on the 16th of July, the IMF released a new update to its economic forecast, where they actually expect economic growth, global economic growth in 2024 to be at around 3.2%, and sort of increase to 3.3% in 2025, which is a 0.1% improvement over their January forecast, where they expected 2025 growth to mirror 2024 levels. Also, global inflation is expected to decline to 5.8% this year, and further decline to around 4.4% in 25. Now, there are quite a number of risks and uncertainties, as you have seen just in the past week. The escalation of the conflict in the Middle East, which has the potential of turning into a much wider war, could have a major impact on sort of the economic growth in the region, and of course, and its impact on global crude prices could have a disruptive effect on the global growth outlook. Similarly, we still continue to face challenges in China's economy. China's real estate sector, which accounted for about 1/3 of the economy, continues to have a very, very challenging scenario. And that outlook is not expected to ameliorate in the short term, despite substantive investment from the government. However, as we see, despite a number of major elections, national elections have been scheduled, it has, the global growth forecast has been able to remain intact. Of course, the major election later this year is the US presidential election, and that has the ability to significantly impact not only global growth prospects, but also global, trade outlook and sort of geopolitical conflicts and their possibilities of resolution in the short term. With this, I would like to now pass on the presentation to my colleague Lucas, who will now take you to the substantive part of this webinar, details about the report. So Lucas, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prashant. My name is Lucas, and I'm now gonna jump into the report. I have to say, we'll provide some insights on the current market situation, but of course, the report includes a much more detailed analysis on what is happening and what to expect in the next 5 years for the aggregates market. The aggregates market size, including sand and gravel, crushed stones, recycled material, and other types of aggregates, with a CAGR at a CAGR of 5.1% between 2019 and 2024 China is the largest market for aggregates in the world, followed by North America and Asia ex-China. These regions alone represent over 60% of the market value size. The fastest growing region is estimated to be Asia ex-China, at a CAGR of 8.3% from 2024 to 2029, growing from 60 billion to 93.9 billion. All regions are estimated to have grown over the past 5 years and continue growing in the forecasted period. Globally, the market size is expected to grow at a CAGR of 4.9% in the forecasted period. Globally, concrete is the fastest growing segment and is estimated at a CAGR of 1.8%, followed by asphalt, growing at a CAGR of 1%, primarily on the back of Asia ex China. Aggregates constitute predominantly a component in concrete, comprising a substantial 65 to 85% of its volume. Concrete finds applications in several structures such as buildings, bridges, roads, and more. Concrete commands the largest application share in the market and is anticipated to experience a CAGR of 1.8% from 2024 to 2029. Crucial elements in asphalt mixes for road surfaces, fresh stones, and gravel are essential to the construction industry. Aggregates used in asphalt applications are projected to increase at a CAGR of 1% from 2024 to 2029. Sand and gravel play pivotal roles in construction filling, contributing to water filtration systems. This application is forecasted to account for 21.4% of the global market. Functioning as essential ballast beneath rail tracks, fresh stones and gravel provide critical attributes, including stability, drainage facilitation, and resistance to lateral movement. Recycle aggregates are helping to shape the future of aggregates by substituting more expensive materials whenever possible. Also, manufactured sand is substituting mineral sand. Sand and gravel, natural and manufactured, are estimated to hold around 0.5% of the market share in 2024. There's a rising trend in the utilization of manufactured sand, fresh stones and sand as a viable and less expensive alternative to sand, to natural sand. In 2024, it is estimated that manufactured sand represents over 30% of the sand and gravel mix. Fresh stones, derived from the crushing of large rocks, including granite, limestone, or basalt, serve as vital components in concrete, asphalt, road base, and railway ballast. Distinguished by various sizes that encompass fine and coarse aggregates. Recycled aggregates, including crushed concrete, reclaimed asphalt, pavement, and landfill waste, contribute sustainably to construction practices and is the fastest growing material in demand. In 2024, the demand for aggregates in residential construction grew in contrast to the non-residential segment, accounting for an estimate 4.9% of the share of the market. With the exception of Eastern Europe and CIS and Western Europe, all regions have predominance of non-residential construction in demand for aggregate. Aggregate demand in residential construction is forecasted to grow at a CAGR of 3.2% from 2024 to 2029. Development infrastructure with focus on renovation projects often demands specialized aggregates with an emphasis on sustainable and resilient construction, growing as well as recycled aggregate demand. The forecasted growth in volume in residential construction is expected to be driven by real estate investments, which played a significant role in residential construction and the rising standard of living that have increased emphasis on quality and comfort of housing. Western Europe dominates global trade for aggregates, accounting for over 40% of all exports and almost a third of imports. Western Europe mostly trade aggregates in Germany and with North America. And Asia ex China is the second biggest importer of the product. And as for countries, Norway was the biggest exporter of aggregates in 2023, followed by China and Germany. And for imports, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the United States, France as well were the top relevant traders in 2023. Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America usually produce what they consume in aggregate, so they don't show much trade in the market. Now I'd like to leave you with the closing remarks of our reports. Please note that we focused only on the highlights of this update, and more detailed information you can find available in our report. Please do not hesitate to contact us so we can help you. Globally, the market size is expected to grow at a figure of 4.9% in the 2024-2029 period. Concrete dominates and is the fastest growing segment at an estimated CAGR of 1.8, followed by asphalt and construction filling. Recycled materials are the fastest growing type of aggregates in the forecasted period. Manufactured sand is also substituting natural sand. The reported period, demand for aggregates in residential construction grew faster in contrast to non-residential segment. Western Europe dominates global trade for aggregates, accounting for over 40% of all exports and almost a third of imports. To finalize, I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and see you in our next webinar.